All right. Hi, Natalie. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. You are a speaker. You've got a program about confidence. And how long have you been doing the speaking?
Oh gosh, I started a long time ago. If I take you back about 12 years ago, I wanted to become a professional speaker. And I actually needed a video done. So we had three cameras, like one for the wide angle, one for the close up, and one from the back to see the large audience. And you probably can relate to this as you do a lot of editing too. So the problem was we had only 20 people in the room. So we kept asking people to move from one section to another so that we would put all the segment together. Then it would look like there was a large audience. And I remember my first paid speaking engagement. I got a call from an organization out of the blue. They wanted me to train their sales force and they asked for my rate. I didn't have a corporate rate. So I go, 250. So they go, okay, so for 4 hours, that would be 1,000. I'm at 250 for the whole thing, right? So they go, so I'm like, yes, that's correct, 1,000. So we booked a date and I got the contract. Oh, I got the contract. The problem is, I remember sitting in my office that day feeling like a fraud. I was hearing this voice in my head telling me, you're not a real professional speaker. You don't deserve $1,000 paycheck for an afternoon. See, I wanted to be a professional speaker and write books in English. I'm French. So that voice was telling me, you don't even speak English. What are you talking about? And true is, my English was really bad. Like I remember I was teaching yoga back then, and the participants at the end of the class, I wanted them to relax their face, relax their jaw. And I was telling them to I wanted them to put their tongue on the roof of their mouth. So I said, put your thong behind your tits. Yeah, like bad accent. My English was really, but the voice was kind of right. But I pushed through anyway. And I somehow realized that this voice was not helping me. That voice was trash talking me into getting stuck because we we talk to ourselves in a way that we wouldn't never talk to people that way. Like you don't walk around and say, hi, oh, you look fat. Hey, you're starting your own business? It's never going to work. Huh, you're such a loser. So why are we talking to ourselves like that? This is ridiculous. So that day in my office, I decided I needed to start studying neuroscience. And I created a system, the DNA system. And that's the system I shared in my 8 international No.1 best-selling books. And that's the system that I use as the base to reprogram somebody's mind in order to talk to themselves in a way that supports them instead of keeping themselves stuck.
What were you doing before this?
Interesting. So I was many different things. So I was teaching fitness classes. I was personal trainer, nutrition and wellness specialist, and I remember observing my clients, and I remember observing the clients that were successful. It was not because I was giving them a better kale salad recipe or because I was showing them a better way to squat. It was because they were changing the way they would think. They were changing their mindset. And that's when I realized, oh my gosh, there's something there. So all together, almost at the same timing, then I wanted to move my business into more motivational speaking and creating a system not just in the fitness industry and also for success, because the brand Think Yourself came up from that. But before, because I was in the fitness industry, my first No.1 best-selling book was Think Yourself Thin. Then I created Think Yourself Healthy, Think Yourself Clean. And when people were buying my books, they were saying, it's interesting. I got this book because I wanted to lose weight and it's helping me in my career. So I thought, yeah, that system can be applied to many things. So I created Think Yourself Successful, Think Yourself a Relationship Pro, Think Yourself Wealthy, Think Yourself a Sales Pro. And then there's now the Think Yourself a Tech Pro series, who's got even 4 different courses, because it always starts with our mindset, and that system can be used for everything.
So the mindset is the key to accomplishing anything, essentially, yeah?
Abs-
It doesn't really matter
Absolutely.
what your goal is. It's all
Absolutely.
about how you approach it. Okay. Can you break that
Yeah.
down just a little bit for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So, in your head, we've got different parts. There's a prefrontal cortex, and we think at a logical level. So the logical mind can handle 5 to 9 things at a time. So that's why you can grocery shop at the same time that you're on a phone meeting, keep your kids from falling off the cart, and still notice the dude at the back of the store winking at the girl in blue in the seafood department. We multitask all the time, right? So that's the logical mind, 5 to 9 things at a time. But have you ever noticed when you're driving to a new address, as you start looking at the numbers on the houses, have you ever caught yourself having to lower the music on the radio? Isn't that weird?
Yes,
Right?
yes, I've done that.
Right? So the thing is that when you have your foot on the brake and the accelerator, the red light ahead, the kid that's about to cross the street, and then there's this lady that is maybe going to cut you off. There's the dude in the car beside you winking at you. Gross. So when you add looking at the numbers on the houses, the music becomes the one too many, because 5 to 9 is not that great after all. And the other thing we need to know about the unconscious, this logical mind that can handle 5 to 9 pieces of information at a time, is that 70% of our thoughts are negative. We trash talk ourselves all the time. So I like to work with the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind is so much more powerful, because living at a logical level is like this. You're working hard, trying to build your business, and then you get up early you work from 5 a.m. till 11 p.m. You still have to take your kids to school and sport in between your clients, and you have to start a podcast. You need to post on social media, and you're exhausted. You still live paycheck to paycheck, and you feel like you're getting further and further away from your dream life. It is like you are wanting to go to Las Vegas, but you're in an aircraft that's going to New York City. It's never going to work. And some people say, well, I need to get off that aircraft. I say, no, stay on that aircraft. Just talk to the pilot and say, hey, bud, mind turning around? Because that's where I want to go. How do you talk to that pilot? It's that personal assistant. It's that unconscious mind, because logical mind can do 5 to 9 things at a time, and the unconscious mind can do 2.3 million pieces of information at a time. 5 to 9, 2.3 million pieces of information at a time. That's where the power is. And it's like a personal assistant in your head, listening to everything that you say or think and making it happen. So your personal assistant is there serving you. But the problem is, people wake up in the morning, they look at themselves in the mirror and they go, I'm so tired. I'm so stressed out. I think I'm gaining weight. So your personal assistant writes it down. Tired, stressed out, gaining weight. Got this. I'm going to make it happen. Tired. Oh, I know. I'm going to keep her awake all night. She's not going to be able to sleep. She's going to be really tired in the morning. Check. Stressed out. Oh, I'm going to make her forget something at home. She's going to have to turn around in traffic, and it's going to be very stressful. Check. Gaining weight. Easy one. I can certainly find a chocolate bar or something deep fried for her to eat today, or more one tonight. Check. So your personal assistant listens to what you say or think and makes it happen. So we need to be very careful how we talk to that unconscious mind, to that personal assistant.
How do we know the personal assistant? How do we find that person in ourselves? Because it's not always that easy to recognize it.
So that personal assistant, it's that voice in your head that talks to you all the time. It's that voice that we use to think. So I'll give you a 2-step technique that you can use in order to start changing the way your personal assistant talks to you, because it works with my clients that telling me all the time what they don't want. And we tend to tell our personal assistant what we don't want. Like, you hire a contractor and you say, I would like you to paint my kitchen not blue. The contractor is not going to know what you want. So here's how you tell your personal assistant what you want. Is whenever you hear a negative thought in your head, like, I'm so stressed out, the first step is to repeat it in the past and say, I used to think that I was stressed out. So, because it's not going to work to just say, oh, I am calm. Like, when I work with people that are highly overweight, it's not going to work to make them stand tall and look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am thin. It's not going to work. You need to do the 2-step technique. So the first step, repeat it in the past. I used to be stressed out. Then the second step is to use a progressive statement. So a progressive statement starts with I am willing to learn, or I'm in the process of. Okay. So you hear yourself say, I'm so stressed out. I used to think that I was stressed out. Now I'm willing to learn how to create a balanced life for myself. Or you hear yourself say, I'm so bad with technology. Wait, I used to think that I was bad with technology. Now I'm willing to learn where it is that I have to click so I can move my business to online. So use that two-step technique to talk to that personal assistant so that your personal assistant will listen to you.
Are there people out there that live stress-free?
I would
Yeah?
like to think so. Stress-free is not, it's impossible because we do experience powerful emotion. The top 5 are anger, fear, hurt, sadness, and guilt. And these seem to create a lot of stress in our prefrontal cortex. But emotions and powerful emotion should only last between 30 and 90 seconds. So that means that you've seen that in children, right? Like children are super happy and then 90 seconds later they're temper tantrum and
Yeah.
then 90 seconds later they're happy again, right? So an emotion only lasts for 30 to 90 seconds. The problem is people go back for a second loop and go back for a third loop. And some people get stuck in
Yes.
these powerful emotions. What these powerful emotions are just events and opportunities for us to learn something, like a truck in your driveway delivering you a package, a free gift, a positive learning. So whenever you have the stress coming out as a form of an emotion, then if you choose that it's anger, fear, hurt, sadness, and guilt, your brain will send 1,400 chemicals through your bloodstream and make you slow down, like cortisol, and it's going to keep you from being resourceful. If you decide that it's excitement, because the brain and the prefrontal cortex, all emotions are created equally. The brain doesn't know the difference between anxiety or excitement. If you say, oh my gosh, I'm feeling uncomfortable right now, I don't like this, I'm experiencing a powerful emotion, that means I have a truck in my driveway. How should I respond? Wait, I have a truck in my driveway. Oh, that means I'm learning something. I'm going to get better at something. I'm getting to the next level of my life. This is an opportunity. Oh, yes, that's awesome. And if you get excited, your brain, instead of sending 1,400 negative chemicals through your bloodstream, will send you positive feel good chemicals like endorphin, dopamine, oxytocin, depending if you're in situation with others or whatever, but they're all different depending on the situation, but they will be feel good chemicals that will give you resources and energy to deal with this situation. So it's not possible to have a stress-free life. It is possible to go through one loop and to choose to exit the loop by deciding how we want to respond.
It seems to me in my life anyways, I'm going to put the blame on my stress on other people. But is that fair? I mean, is that a reasonable thing to do? Because I think if I'm alone, I don't feel stressed. But when other people come into my life and other situations, then I start to get stressed out. And I quickly blame them or the environment, whatever it is. Maybe not them specifically, but you know what I mean. So is that fair to do?
So I like the way you phrase your question. Is that fair to do? Well, not really. It's not
It's
really
not.
fair.
No.
It's not really fair. What it is to understand that we always have control. We have control of how we react. We don't have control over other people. We can try to help other people. When some people come at us with their stuff, we can say, what would you like instead? And when they come, and some people are they just want to rant. Oh gosh, I was on the highway today. This guy jerk cut me off and blah, blah, blah. And then they just want to go on and on. And then all of a sudden you're like, what's that? So you can say, okay, that's unfortunate. What would you like instead? And you try to chunk them up. At the end of the day, we can choose to see less of the people if we find that they don't want to change, if they don't want to go into solution mode, if they don't need our help, they just want to vent and rant, then maybe we tell them the story that your brain, when you replay something that happened to you, your brain doesn't know it's not happening again. So it reshoots another 1,400 chemicals through your bloodstream. So we can share that with our friends and say, hey, I know that's too bad that it happened to you, but if every time you tell me the story, you repollute yourself. And guess what? The person that receives the story, their brain doesn't know it's not happening to them. So their brain sends 1,400 chemicals. So they are polluting you with their story because your brain doesn't know it's not happening to you. And that's why we're scared when we watch a movie with vampires. There's no vampires in our living room, but we experience fear anyway because the brain doesn't know it's not happening to us. And that's why we cry when we watch This Is Us, because it's sad and the brain doesn't know it's not happening to us. So we need to be very careful. We can tell our friends and tell our environment about this fact. And maybe we tell them, hey, we need for you to move on to solution mode. And what would you like instead? What's your learning? What are you learning from this? How are you getting better at something that you're uncomfortable at now? Well, this is your opportunity. If we find that they just keep at the level they're at and they're not ready to move to the next level, well, you can move to the next level and see less of them, unfortunately. And they can stay there for a while, and then eventually they'll join you to the next level. And maybe you will have moved up to the next anyway. We don't know. But
Yeah.
you can choose to do that.
We are out of time, unfortunately. Just like that. Do you have a website that you want to give out?
Yes, absolutely. So people can go to thinkyourself.com. And if you want to go directly to a confidence guide, so go to thinkyourself.com/confidence guide, and then you will get 15 keys. I give you one tip, the 2-step technique. There's 14 other tips on that document. So you can go thinkyourself.com/confidence guide, go download it and enjoy the 15 keys to finding confidence and unlocking your full potential.
Nathalie, thank you so much for coming on the show. This was a